Everything I've done in my life, I've done for my children, because I love them.
Have you thought about the possibility that your children are actually scared of you?
Oh, fuck off!
Salut à tous et bienvenue dans Story Série saison 1, épisode 35. Cette semaine, on plonge dans l'enfer familial de Succession, le nouveau petit bijou HBO avec ses comédiens. On parle du métier d'acteur avec les stars de The Magicians. Et on jette un œil sur les séries de l'été.
Great, excellent, wonderful. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Hi. Hello. Hi.
Yeah. Okay.
La famille est-elle l'environnement le plus sûr du monde? Pas vraiment.
Marcia. What did I say? I said nobody by the elevator. What do I find? Everybody's by the elevator.
It's a surprise.
Avec Succession, le nouveau drame inflammable de l'écurie HBO, vous allez découvrir que vous ne pouvez compter sur personne et surtout pas sur vos proches. L'enfer, c'est la famille.
Fifth largest media conglomerate in the world. A pal to prime ministers, a truth teller to presidents. So, let's raise a toast. Logan Roy.
Logan Roy.
Voici la famille Roy,
Thank you.
propriétaire du 5e plus puissant conglomérat médiatique des États-Unis. À sa tête le patriarche, Logan, prêt à prendre sa retraite et laisser sa place à son fils Kendall, avec la bénédiction blasée de ses 3 autres enfants, Roman, Shiv et Connor, et celle de son épouse Marcia. Mais le jour de son 60e anniversaire, les liens sacrés de la famille explosent quand il annonce qu'il ne laissera finalement pas les rênes de l'entreprise.
I'm gonna give it a couple of years.
As in?
I'll stay in situ as chairman, CEO, head of the firm.
Dad, you what?
Nous avons rencontré Jesse Armstrong, showrunner heureux qui a fait ses armes en Angleterre aux côtés de Armando Iannucci et les stars de la série, Ian Abbas et Brian Cox.
This is blah blah good, you know.
Ah, blah blah. It's French, you can say it,
Oh, well,
you
this
know.
is fucking good, I said.
When will you be ready to step down?
I don't know. 5?
5 years?
10?
10? Dad, seriously.
I think it's an excellent show. I mean, I have to say. And I'm very proud to be part of it because I do think it's cutting edge. I do think it's unusual. I think it has a lot of wonderful drama, but has a wonderful dark humor about it. It's very funny and very savage. And it's also a great comment on our age. You know, we live in a times where people are getting richer and richer and richer, and of course, at the other end of the spectrum, people are getting poorer and poorer and poorer.
It's my fucking company.
Yeah, it is your fucking company, and you know what? You're running it into the fucking ground.
He, your man, is an autodidact, self-taught. You know, he's come from, you know, from very poor beginnings to something else. So his journey is entirely different from his children's journey. So in a way, he's in a state of kind of slight resentment towards his children because they have had it easy. And they've also, they're, as he says at one point, he says they're soft. They have no muscle. They have no fiber.
Hi. Hello. Good. How are you?
Good. You look great. What a beautiful color.
Thanks. Same.
Thank you.
Moi, c'est la première fois que je sens vraiment ce plaisir de la troupe.
Oui.
C'est un projet collectif, enfin... Donc j'imagine qu'il y avait un truc spécial, en fait.
Quand on a commencé à tourner le pilote, on l'a tourné avec, avec Adam McKay. On est arrivé, il voulait répéter quelques jours avant pour aussi que les gens se rencontrent et que la famille, voilà, commence à savoir qui est qui. Et effectivement, à partir de ce moment-là, il y avait une sorte de magie, en fait. Magie qui arrive vraiment rarement. Sur les tournages, Adam aussi avait offert la possibilité à tous les comédiens de faire ce qu'il appelait the freestyle. Et donc, on était là et chacun, voilà, vraiment dans la ligne de son personnage, à essayer d'improviser. Des fois, il nous parlait de loin en disant oui, bah, il appelait un nom, en fait, dis ça ou dis ça ou dis ça. Et ces moments-là aussi, ils ont rapproché beaucoup la famille. Et effectivement, vraiment, on était très proches.
You okay?
Sure. You? I read an interview where you said that you knew every time you write a show what you're going to see in the end is not what you thought it was going to be. But working with Adam McKay and building this team, did it change something? Did you feel like finally what you see is what you hoped for?
Yeah, and I hope it doesn't sound too much like a criticism, that, because I've worked with great directors and often you get more. The first scene I remember shooting with Adam is this early scene.
Brownstones, water towers, trees, skyscrapers.
Kendall in the back of the car, he's listening to music and he's rapping. And I remember thinking, I don't know if other people will like this show, but I think we're making pretty much exactly what I hoped. And
what were your conversations? How did you express what you wanted visually?
Well, with Adam,
yes.
I of course know his work, and The Big Short, you know, I think shares certain themes. Stylistic and certainly some themes, and also I think he thought it would not be that he would not use precisely the same visual world, but it would be similar. It's, you know, it feels real. It feels some of it is derived from documentary. He also has some very elegant, more classic camera moves. So I know that he spent a lot of time watching movies with his DOP, but we talked about Big Short and In the Loop, and then we talked about things like Festen, things which get under the skin of a situation to make it real.
I think it's time to play the game.
We're playing the game?
Well, yes. It's my birthday, so yes, we're playing the game.
The writing is very, very special, and when you watch it, you have the feeling of something that is so naturalistic. Yeah, yeah. So I was wondering if during the shooting you knew where the camera were.
The great thing was our camera crew, because they would do a pass on the scene, which was fairly straightforward, and then they would do different passes, you know, different passes on the scene, so they would pick up detail. And of course, the good director's eye, the editor's eye, would pick up on that detail. So that's why it has a kind of variety feeling about it sometimes.
Hey, Lawrence, the number is 140. Cash with a stock alternative. You're on our board. Take the stock, you'll own a nice piece of us.
Well, that is an appealing package.
This is a deal so fucking good, you have to take it, or we'll see you in court. Dude.
Adam McKay created the style where he took the world and he did it like that. So everybody really had to follow suit.
And it's a world falling apart, so...
Yeah, exactly. So it was, you know, it was great.
I heard the door. I have to let you go.
Okay.
It was wonderful meeting you.
Right, Sharon.
Thank you very much.
All the best. Thank you.
Depuis 3 saisons, la télé a son Harry Potter qui s'appelle The Magicians.
Do you want your magic back? I'll send you on an epic quest.
Version plus sombre, plus violente et plus décomplexée que son cousin à lunettes, la série offre aux fans de fantasy un terrain de jeu idéal à grands coups d'effets spéciaux et de rebondissements. Mais sous les costumes, le maquillage et la grandiloquence nécessaires à ce genre de récit se cachent des acteurs fragiles et émouvants.
That's fair. I'll take it.
Mais être acteur, est-ce que ça ne serait pas un peu de la magie? Nous avons posé la question à Olivia Taylor-Dudley et à Arun Gupta, alias Alice et Penny, à l'occasion de l'arrivée de la 3e saison de la série sur Sci-Fi.
Look, the way I see it, an actor is someone who tells the truth and tells a story. I think a magician is someone who changes circumstances around them. So I think in some ways, an actor can be a part of something that changes circumstances because stories have that kind of power. But I think magicians are different still.
I don't know, I think both require a suspension of belief, though. Like, you have to use your imagination. Even a magician who's been doing magic forever, there's like a part of it where you have to believe and hope it will work. Oh. And that you will be able to deliver the thing that you're about to do. And as an actor, I feel like that it's a similar thing. But, I mean, two very different careers. Luckily, we get to do both.
Magic doesn't come from talent, it comes from pain.
La magie ne serait donc pas le fruit du seul talent, mais aussi celui de la douleur. Peut-on en dire autant du métier d'acteur? Où vont-ils chercher de l'inspiration?
Oh, great question. Every actor has a very different process. I mean, there are times for sure when I'm, for example, playing Alice that I do pull from life experiences, and that's a good thing that you've had life experience. I think it only helps your craft, but it's not all dark and brooding all the time just to play dark and brooding. It's just being a human.
Oh, you are Alice Quinn.
Yeah, whoever that is now.
Can I just say something?
No.
I think that's a dangerous analogy that's been propagated by a lot of time. It's the same idea that artists need to be insane, or that artists need to be on some form of drugs, or have to come from a place of darkness in order to create. I think it's false, unequivocally.
Si la douleur n'est pas la seule émotion qui nourrit la performance d'acteur, ce métier n'en reste pas moins difficile. Aujourd'hui, alors qu'une 4e saison a été confirmée pour The Magicians, ces comédiens peuvent être sereins. Mais ça n'a pas toujours été le cas.
I felt like it was my time, and I just wanted to be with you. No, you're not going to, okay?
I almost quit acting when I was first got to college. I went to NYU. I was a kid from Florida. All of a sudden, I was in New York. I used to be a big fish in a small pond. All of a sudden, I was this little fish in the biggest pond. It felt like the biggest pond in the world. And I just got lost, and I had teachers that were really intense, and you know, everyone felt like they knew more. So I'm very aware of that lacking motivation. And I remember I went home and I saw Finding Neverland. And it was a story about storytellers, and I remembered, I don't remember the film that well, actually, to be completely honest with you, but I remember walking out of the film and saying, oh, right, this is why I do it. And that was a really important grounding experience for me.
I think it's changing up the scenery and constantly filling your brain with really good material and good art is very important.
Thank you very much.
Oh,
thank you.
Tandis que vous préparez vos bagages, les chaînes du monde entier préparent leur programmation d'été. Nous avons fait le tour des nouveautés pour sélectionner les 3 séries qui nous font le plus envie, et vous allez voir, il y en a pour tous les goûts, surtout les bons. On commence le programme des réjouissances estivales avec un polar très british.
My name is Cormoran Strike. Wondered if we could have a quick chat. You're not a cop. I was. Royal Military Police. I'm a private investigator now.
Lui, c'est Cormoran Strike, un vétéran de guerre devenu détective après avoir perdu sa jambe droite en Afghanistan. Elle, c'est Robin Elacotte, jeune femme brillante et malicieuse, peu soutenue par son fiancé.
Private detective. It's a bit Roger Rabbit.
I like the work I'm doing now.
Aussi cocasse et mal assorti que Sherlock Holmes et son cher Dr Watson, ce nouveau duo de détectives inclassables sort de l'imaginaire foisonnant de J.K. Rowling, qui après le succès phénoménal de Harry Potter a choisi de s'essayer au roman policier sous un pseudonyme.
The inquest verdict said suicide, but I think she was murdered.
You have no idea.
About what?
Anything.
Justice has not been done.
I know you're scared, but we're on your side.
Après le polar, place au western avec Yellowstone, écrite et réalisée par Taylor Sheridan, scénariste du Sicario de Denis Villeneuve, également nommé aux Oscars en 2017 pour l'excellent Comancheria.
Nothing we do is for today. Ranching is the only business where the goal is to break even. Survive another season.
Portée par Kevin Costner, la série tournée dans le Montana raconte le combat d'un propriétaire de ranch pour conserver ses terres face à des promoteurs que rien n'arrête. Une histoire particulièrement chère à Sheridan qui a lui-même grandi dans un ranch.
You were right. You're building a city.
Everyone's forgotten who runs this valley. I need you more than ever.
You have me.
The new chief is hungry for a fight. I'm gonna buy your ranch, and I'm gonna pull down every fence.
Une série sombre et violente qui n'est pas sans nous rappeler la seconde saison de True Detective.
Can't stop it, John. Watch me.
Et on termine avec une bonne dose de terreur grâce à Castle Rock. Avec 350 millions de livres vendus dans le monde, Stephen King est un habitué des adaptations sur petit et grand écran. Cet été, ce n'est pas un roman qui prendra vie sous vos yeux, mais l'univers entier du maître de l'horreur, grâce à l'anthologie Castle Rock, une ville légendaire qui sert régulièrement de décor à ses histoires.
Everyone's got a theory how it started. About Castle Rock's original sin. Was it the Puritans who settled here? Or was it the mills, where we grew rich by scraping God's earth until it bled? Was that when he turned his back on this town?
Reprenant toute la mythologie de l'œuvre de King avec des références à Misery, Saw ou encore Shining, la série suivra le retour d'un avocat spécialisé dans les condamnations à mort à Castle Rock après avoir reçu un appel de la prison d'État de Shawshank.
What brings you home? I got a call from Shawshank. Call from who? Don't know yet.
Au casting, de nombreuses têtes connues des fans de l'auteur, dont Sissy Spacek, qui incarna Carrie en 1976, Melanie Lynskey, vue dans Rose Red, mais aussi Bill Skarsgård, à l'affiche de l'adaptation ciné de Saw, sortie l'an dernier.
You have no idea what's happening here, do you?
Et si ça ne vous suffit pas, on vous invite à revoir le meilleur de Story Série tout l'été grâce à nos best-of. Et on vous donne rendez-vous à la rentrée pour une saison 2 bien méritée. Allez, bonnes vacances!